Okay, so The Walking Dead is back, the mid-season finale, and I'm going to be reviewing The Walking Dead on this YouTube channel. The first thing I want to say about this first episode from the return is that Carl was acting like a little bitch. This message is going to Carl. You little greasy-haired little fuck. I'm sorry, bitch is more of an appropriate word. Before I even go on, why does it seem like in the zombie apocalypse that all these stores, these houses, drugstores, grocery stores, all of them seem to have plenty of stock of food, but not one bottle of shampoo? Did everybody just grab all the shampoo and leave the food and run? Thinking, oh, I have to have fabulous hair in the zombie apocalypse. Carl, wash your hair at least once a season, because that shit's nasty. Anyway, in this episode, Carl is being very disrespectful. I guess they were trying to show him as being, a rebellious teenager. You picked a fine time to be rebellious, you little bitch. Anyway, he was being disrespectful to Rick, wouldn't let Rick keep up, even though Rick was pretty mortally wounded. When Rick is laying on the couch instead of the house, when they finally get to the house, they first went to the barbecue place. Joe's Barbecue Shack, or whatever the hell it's called. And Rick has to try and kill Joe Sr., obviously. He didn't see the little note on the table, but of course, Carl sees the note. And it's from Joe Jr. And it says, please do what I couldn't do. So Joe Jr. didn't have the heart to kill his dad. But he did take the time to block his dad in so his dad couldn't get out and kill anyone. And he wants somebody to come along and kill his dad. He doesn't want to know about it. So, of course, Carl's the one that decides to kill the dad. And he says later on to Rick, when Rick is unconscious on the couch, he was like, I would be fine if you just died. But, because I can take care of myself, which he obviously can. Yes, it's kind of like a teenager, but he blames Rick for Shane's death, first of all. Completely ignoring the fact that every single time they would go on a run, they would come back banged up and bruised, and his dad was obviously a victim of domestic violence. And I honestly don't think all those bruises came from Shane. Just saying. But Shane tried to kill your dad, Carl. You do understand that, right? Sound like Lori. Anyway, technically, if you want to be entirely technical about it, Carl, you're the one that killed Shane, not Rick. I mean, Shane came back. You were the one that put the bullet in his head and killed him. But forget the fact that Shane tried to kill your dad. You blamed him for Lori's death. Now, your dad is not responsible for your mom dying in childbirth. And technically, you were the one that killed your mom, too. After she turned. Now, your dad was out doing whatever your dad did. And you blamed your dad for Lori dying. But there's nothing he could have done if he was there. So, you can't blame him for that. Now, Herschel got himself killed because he was out gallivanting around on his one leg, which you should understand since you go out and gallivant and do your own thing, too. If you should blame anyone, you should blame Michonne, because Michonne is the one that got Judith killed, because she pissed the governor off for killing that little zombie girl and stabbing the governor in the eye. I mean, I'd be pissed, too. Even if I wasn't a dictator, I would still want Michonne dead. So I would still go back and take revenge on the prison for what Michonne did. But Carl, you can't blame anybody. Don't forget that little zombie out in the forest that you couldn't kill because you were a little pansy. And then the zombie came back and ate Dale's small intestines. So you were the one that got Dale killed. Don't forget that. And if you want to blame Carl, I mean, you want to blame Rick for, not protecting anybody. Why didn't you protect, Carol's little girl, your best friend? You let her run off in the woods. You let her get killed. It's your fault. I was surprised he didn't bring that up in the whole litany of excuses that he was using in this episode to hate his dad. But at the very end, after Michonne has her dream sequence and she remembers her family, it was a very adorable looking family. Michonne walks with her army, with her new toys, her new pets that she had created at the prison after having stabbed and poor Herschel in the head again. But Michonne sees her twinsy in the forest and decides, hey, I'm not going to live like this anymore. So she whacks off the head. And then she whacks off the heads of all the other zombies, and she finds Rick and Carl at the house. And she breaks down. She's so happy to see them. You can tell she's almost like a replacement mom for Carl. It's the reason why Rick looked through people and was like, it's for you, at the very end of the episode. Now, coming up, if you know anything about the books, or you know anything about the spoilers that have been hinted at, the group is going to encounter the Hunters, which is a very brutal group that make the governor look like Mother Teresa. There's also Negan. I just read it in the book, so I don't know how you actually pronounce the name. Negan. He's a bigger problem than the governor. So they're going to really have their hands full. And I think the season will actually end up closing out. Maybe not the end of this season, maybe the beginning of next season. It will move from Georgia to Virginia, because Alexandria, Virginia is a major location in the books. So I'm sure it will be a major location in the TV show. So we've got that to look forward to. There's also a spin-off of the series coming, and they haven't said where it will take place at, but I'd like to see it take place back in Georgia. So there'll be a Georgia and a Virginia series going concurrently. But we shall see.